everyone, my name's Tony, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can go from this to this in the comfort of your own home using multiple and double exposures in camera. As you may have seen from my previous video on multiple and double exposures, which I will link to up here, you will notice that I always start these with a base image, which is on the screen now, and I'm going to transport you to past me, where I explain how I get my base image, all my settings, and everything you need to then come back and get creative in your own home. Hi and welcome to Past Me, where I am setting up the first stages of this multiple exposure. So the first thing I've got here is I've got my flash on a stand and it's got a trigger, and I'm just going to use some starter settings of maybe a 32 power and I'm going to zoom that right into 70, because basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just creating a silhouette image that I can use as my base image. Pop this in a dark background, so I'm just going to use over there because it does feel quite dark, as opposed to the building behind us that's lit up quite nicely. So I'm going to pop this quite far away. The further away I go with this, the more of a halo effect I have around my couple. So I'm just going to use a bare flash at the beginning. I'm just going to get these guys to stand maybe about 20 foot from the flash, just facing each other just here would be perfect. And we'll just test that out. I can't actually focus on these guys because it's too dark, so what I normally do is I normally get a trigger on my camera. So let's test that flash out. That is perfect. So my settings at the minute, probably a bit too much, probably got too much of a highlight there. Settings at the moment are 400 ISO, 200 on my shutter and an aperture of 2, and go to 200 ISO just to try that again. Because the last thing I want to do is blow out my highlights, because I'm going to need those. So I'm actually going to try that at 100. So basically all I'm really wanting is something like this, where I've got a nice silhouetted image of my couple that I can then overlay my multiple exposures on anytime I like. I'll get my flash behind James rather than behind Demi's hair. Once I've got my settings right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of different compositions of the same shot, just because then I can choose one that I want to use later that will be suitable to the situation. So because it's so dark now, I can't really see them and I can't tell if it's in focus. So what I'm going to do is use trusty Tony light, trusty torchlight on my phone. James, will you just light yourselves up with that so I can get my focus? Yeah. It's nice and close, heads nearly touching but not touching. It's quite important not to have the heads touching on a multiple exposure or any silhouette. So I'm just going to pop a snoot on. So what I'm doing here is I'm just running real quick to my flash to pop one of the mag snoots on. This is to control the spill of the light and to create a nicer controlled halo around Demi and James. So I'm quite happy with these, and this is a great base image for a double or a multiple exposure. So I'm going to pass you back to me in the future, where we are going to finish creating this double and multiple exposure image in camera. Yeah, boy. Thanks, guys. I am using the Canon 5D Mark III. I've actually got my 35mm lens on at the minute, but I think I was shooting in past me with the 85, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm using the 35 so I can get more in the image. By pressing this creative button here, it brings up the option of me to change the picture style. So if I scroll across to the middle, I can select a multiple exposure. And if I press set, it then gives me the options within the multiple exposure menu. For the first one, I'm going to use function control shooting, and I'm just going to have 3 exposures. When I choose the additive, that basically means it's going to add on the exposure each time rather than work out the average. And then what I need to do is just select my image for the multiple exposure. Right now it's just showing me all my base images which I took on the shoot. I'm just going to choose one where these guys are in the middle. So I'm going to choose this one. So I've now selected that image. And to make my life a little bit easier, I'm actually going to be shooting in the live view. Now if I shoot in live view, I can faintly see previous image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the fire first of all. In multiple exposures, you actually can't change your ISO. So what I will be doing is just changing my shutter speed and then using manual focus to get the different effects. So because I'm shooting in live view, I can still see Demi and James at the bottom there. So my aim is always going to be to pop those two in a dark area of the frame so that they still stand out in the end. This is all trial and error, so this will usually take me a couple of goes. Try and not melt my camera in the process. So I can't change my ISO, so at the minute I'm just changing my shutter speed to something that I feel is more appropriate. So at the minute I'm at 400 on my shutter, 1.4 on my aperture, and I can't change my ISO, and that's at 100. So there's the first one. And as you can see now, that the first flame is now remaining in the image, and I've got 2 more exposures to go at. So that's 2. So there's my final image. So my first exposure is the base image, my second is 1 flame, and the third is the other flame. But I'm not just quite happy with that. I want to fill the whole frame up, so I'm just going to go again. So same thing again, picture style, multiple exposure, select my image. I'm going to go ahead and select the same one as before, which I think was this one. And we're going to go again in live view. See, that's much better because I've now actually just placed them within the flames. So I'm going to carry on going until I get something that I am really happy with. Again, just placing them in the darkest area of the image. So this is attempt number 2. Which, as you can see, I've built it up from here to here, and there's my 3 images all together. As you can see at the moment, this is the kind of thing that I'm getting, and I'll pop that picture on the screen for you now, but I don't feel like there's enough fire in it, so I'm just going to go wild and go for like 10 exposures and see what happens. So exactly the same thing again. I'm just going to 9 is my limit. I'm going to 9 exposures, same image, and hopefully we'll get something a little bit more exciting. 9 exposures. That's better. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm just filling every part of the frame with the flames. So I think I'm on 4 at the minute. I'm trying to build it up slowly. And I'm coming in and out to get a bit of depth in the image as well. So I've still got 3 left, and I'm just going to build this area a little bit more and maybe a little bit down the bottom here. And the top corner. Oh yeah. So I've got one left and I've got a lot more flames in there. So this is 9 exposures altogether. I'm actually playing with fire now because if I ruin this I'll be really sad. I'll play it safe and get the top bit. So I'm really scared actually. I'm just waiting now for this to all render itself together. So I'm kind of a bit scared because that little bottom one, I didn't want to get the flames like over Demi and James's silhouette, because if I did have the flames over Demi and James's silhouette, it is just going to spoil it. Because I want quite a clean image. I want them to stand out amongst the flames. And with those guys being backlit, they need to be in clear separation, and I am really excited about this. So that one is 9 exposures in the comfort of my own home, in my living room. Thank you so much for watching. I love making double, multiple exposures in camera because I find them so creative. You can use almost anything to get creative, and I just feel like the results just really show like what you can do in camera when you're creating multiple and double exposures. I'm going to pop some more pictures of multiple and double exposures up on the screen now, and if you would like to see any more behind the scenes of how I create these multiple and double exposures in camera, just let me know in the comments.